Yo, what's up, guys? Yeah, just taking a little break from the lightning fast tags. Today we're gonna talk about the brand new Defender, and I do think it's pretty dope Defender for the toughest nail tag, and that is the Hi-Nu Gundam. So again, different with its UR version, the Hi-Nu Gundam is actually a Defender here, which when you think about it, the fin funnel barrier actually makes more sense here because it does have 40% reduced damage taken, and the cycle frame increases evasion and then increase defense. So these guys are actually pretty jacked up for defender. um, you see here, I used these items, so we can ignore it for now. Let's get to its optimal, no, I mean maximum power level. Okay, let's go with Terra Snail, and here we go, and then we show max upgrade. So you can see here like it has actually a lot of defense, like 11,000 defense at level 100, pretty hefty. Though you can see the combat power might not be that high compared to a lot of attacker, and the HP is like around 100,000, right? So again, the problem with a lot of these tanks unit, the mobility is pretty low. But you can see one thing is very important for the tank to have is the movement. Okay, so movement actually covers how wide the area you can actually block. So any movement 5 tank will almost certainly better than any of the 4 movement tank, and that is because of the coverage. Again, only coverage. Okay, now we have this weapon, so you can see that it has the exact same weapon with the UR, but the difference is like it doesn't have the EX ability, and the power in the UR version is actually higher. But you see here that the fin funnel hits like 4008 with a critical, and that is like yes, that's pretty strong actually. And you can see that this guy actually have a 8005 attack. It's almost near the support level kind of attack power. So yeah, this guy hits pretty hard for a tank, to be honest. And then it has the range again. It's kind of pointless if your tank doesn't have a range to actually dish out more damage. If it has range, just like this guy and also Hi-Nu, the battle range, it's all about the range, right? If you have battle range, your attack power will be more valuable. If your range is too small, it's gonna be pretty hard to actually justify to power up your attack other than the debuff. Again, and the thing is, if you have mobility, very low mobility, in PvP, that even worse to actually justify to upgrade any of the attack, because again, if you move last, like what you gonna do with it, right? Even the debuff doesn't really feel that much. So this first one is actually the anti-special weapon. Alright, so there's a bit of discrepancy. You can see here that it actually blocks more on the beam, but for the fin funnel itself, it actually reduces spatial. So, and it's actually a special type weapon as well. So this is a bit of discrepancy here. We don't really know what it wants to actually fight against. Personally, I do think the fin funnel is more like a damage kind of ability rather than just being a tanking ability with the debuff. I do think this is more the damage, unless it does actually saw some of the special weapon type of opponent. It might actually want to deal with the decreased weapon power. But again, it's a bit of a we have several tanks that is very very focused, like for example, like Destiny is very focused, right, against anti physical, and then we have the anti beam, and then anti beam is Shakusiki, right? So Hi-Nu is like, it's kind of mixed bag. I do think it's kind of mixed bag. And then you can see the beam rifle did nothing, but it actually hits quite hard, 4-5 for the tank. And then we have the beam saber standard 4-2, and then the hyper mega bazooka launcher. So this one actually reduce mobility on the enemy for 1 turn. So I can see the use case for this one, especially in PvP scenarios, that your opponents often go first And then if you actually can hit the AI actually hit the opponent with this, they're gonna have a bad time because the next turn is not their turn anymore because your team gonna start wreaking havoc. So I do think this is a very interesting ability or weapon to be used in PvP scenarios because you just take that advantage away from them with this. But maybe people actually prefer like attack down, but I do think in this one case, in this just one case, this mobility down might actually work. But I don't really know how they control the AI to use the AoE weapon. I barely see any of the unit use any AoE weapon in the PvP. So that's up in the air again. Maybe we need to test it in PvP once in a while, okay? Yeah, so far it's actually pretty great tank. Again, it does more like a well balanced tank rather than a very bulky tank. And I do think the is very, it's okay. No, not okay. I would say it's pretty good to be honest, because again, it has both anti-spatial and anti-beam, so it can last quite long, and it has quite the power, and it has a quite good AoE attack and great defense. Mobility is low as any other tank, so yeah, that's that, right? As for the characters, I would say that again, you have to go back with the Yona Basta because Yona with the ESFS tag. ESFS is a very good tag. I do think, personally, I think this is the best current tag in the game because the faction of USFS has a very good units all around. I mean, one of the best, if not the best, right? You have narrative, you have the Hi-Nu, both Hi-Nu, you have the Gundam, and then you have the superior Gundam, and then you have another new Gundam, like Gaplan is here, and you have this D guy, is it Zero or D guy? Oh, GP00, right? And then you have a full Banyan is also here. There's a lot of options that actually they can write, and especially for the attacker and defender tags, there are a lot of good units around. So yeah, Yona is going to be the best for this one, but the problem is if we want to make a toughest nail team, why would you even bother with the new Gundam? Why don't you just go with narrative, right? Or maybe the standard Gundam, because Yona can just do his double support anytime he wants. So that might be a bit of a, a bit of a problem with actually using Yona. The other, of course, going to be Mikazuki, but the free tank, none of them actually trigger any double defense support. So there's that. Again, tank is very limited choice at this point for the characters. At least we have a Charles Noble. If you're lucky to get the G-Quacks, the white G-Quacks, and then you're gonna have a Charles Noble, the white Gundam, and then the other options are gonna be Ray. So there's only like two you pilot that have two defense, and one of them is very limited but free, and the other guy is like not free, but he has a more diversity in what unit you can use. So it's very questionable condition for the tank. So yeah, in the end you're gonna stick with Yona and or Mikazuki. So what do you think about Hi-Nu? I do think it's pretty okay. It's pretty well balanced tank, and I still love the design. I have a bias on the design. Okay, so let me know what you think, comment below, and like and subscribe. See you next time. Bye bye.